Okay, this is a little different video, or at least the main focus of the video. We may do some other things afterwards, but main focus of this video for the start of it is I'm about to expose this little assureance wireless government, supposed a government program that is supposedly given, free phones. Here's my issue with it, and I'm not saying before anybody says anything or before anything gets misunderstood. Okay, I'd had it at one time for a short little while when my wife first came up here, because I remember going down at the old DHS and getting these little pamphlets, these little things, and you fill them out and you send them in. Well, me and my wife filled out one and sent it in the mail, and a week later we got the phones, or whatever, however long it was, probably about a week, and we got the phones. And like I was explaining to my wife at the time, or was now here a few minutes ago, at the time they had everything right, and they were trying to provide you with what they figured you would need if you had an emergency. If what you had was, if you family, maybe, if anybody out there believes in friends, I know how it feels. I don't even want that. But anyway, so if you're one of those lucky ones that has a little bit of all this, well, good luck to you on that. But, not everybody's as lucky, but no, it's come to apparent to me now. It's not been probably about as long as we've been married, about 10 years now. And in this length of time, they've went and gave us so much hassle over these phones. They have mine. They said, "Oh yeah, Derek, yours is," and I guess they just picked me out first. I don't know. Yeah. And so they did supposedly my order was done. Well, we give them an address, where we live, and everything. Then these damn people, they go so far as to say, "Oh, by the way, we've got to have an alternate address to send another phone out to." I didn't know what the fuck. At the time, several days ago, I didn't know what they were talking about. And I had no idea why they were needing an address. It just never occurred to me that they would want to have to send a stranger, someone else, even if it were a family member, even if it were, somebody you kind of did something every once in a blue moon with. Nobody wants someone else's phone or packages going to someone else's address when you're of age and you have your own place of residence, whether you rent or whatever it is. Even if I were on good terms, I wouldn't want to send my packages to family members and people's houses that I didn't really do that much with. I just still would not feel, either way it would go. If we were on good terms and doing things, or whether we weren't, and we're not. I just still don't feel comfortable about doing that. And that's just the laziest thing I've ever seen. And, I thought, man, I was telling my wife, I said, well, maybe if I put a video out here, warn people, which I know a lot of people probably don't even use them, but I know some people do. Or maybe some people say, hey, well, they went from doing the pamphlet things to having you go online and fill this whole thing out. My wife was trying to really do it because she went down there and tried to find out all this stuff. But the more I see her do it, the more I see her call these people, and every time it's like somebody different. One say one thing, another one says another, and then the other one follows suit, usually with the one that says the one thing that we don't like, and then there's just it's all kind of conflicting stuff. I told my wife we just we'll figure out something else because these people are going to jerk you around. Now, of course, if it's like important stuff, your SSI or whatever, they got a way where you can bypass filling out a bunch of paperwork. I figured that out when one lady said, well, yeah, we do have this one thing we can do, and just have you do verify such and such over the phone. I said, okay. So anyway, but this Assurance Wireless government thing is just basically, it's a bunch of BS. And they just try and tell me, well, we have to. No, you don't. Me and my wife is a married couple. And I don't care if it was family and they all wanted a phone. Y'all are the ones that said you give them away for free and y'all don't charge anything for your services. You give a little bit and when you use it up, it rolls over the next month. Like I remember when the first time I had these phones, it was like, say, about 700, probably not even this much, but just as an example. If you had 500 minutes, just an example, you had it for 500 minutes on the phone and 500 texts. You don't have to call them, baby. We're not doing that. I'm putting a video out here to warn people. Yeah, I'm not having it. I told my wife, I said, we got enough problems physically wrong with us and don't need our blood pressure high as a kite and fussing with them over what their problem is. They're just trying to refuse two people service because they want to monkey around with this fucking, having two different addresses to send two phones out to. It don't make a goddamn bit of sense. If you get a package of any kind, you want it sent to your address where you live, not other people's. They need to change that. Because if they don't, there's going to be a lot more people like me and my wife. And people say, well, why don't you? We've tried all these things. And we've got the cheapest thing we've got right now, which I'm going to try to make us do right now. Make do right now till, I may have to keep it because I don't have much choice. Certainly, I just told my wife I'm not going to have them fussing and arguing and wasting time and our energy and and our health on them. I'm not screaming and yelling in the phone and getting because I'm not going to be able to take it for long, and I'm not in the mood for their crap. They didn't have no problem 10 years ago sending out, me and my wife, these phones. The reason she didn't want to keep them is I remember this pretty well, and even though it's been a while, I remember this was thinking, well, I want to get out here and I want to do this and I might want to do that, kind of thing. Try out some of the more modern tech stuff, on the phone. That's what those goddamn smartphones and all that other bull is, where people sitting there all day texting and Googling on the internet and on the apps. Well, we tried it. She had her fill of it. I've had my fill of it. I originally didn't really want one of those smartphones. Just because it's people try, and I'm not trying to stir up nothing, but I'm not like very, very old fashioned as in like everything has to be, that way. But in this technology world, this technology needs to go back. Most cases. Now, TVs and things of that nature, microwaves or whatever, they're fine. I just bought a microwave not long ago, about a year or two ago. Bought one. I only paid about $70-$80 for, something like that. And it still works really good. But, a lot of things need to be, especially when you're dealing with phones. And this kind of ties into a little bit of what I said the other day on the video. It's why you don't need to have kids to be able to have phones when they're, underage. If they need a phone, they need to have one. They need to come out with a child-proof phone. Like kind of like them kind of phones where, kids can't get on the internet. And, there ought to be something passed where, a law or something, just in my view, where they keep the kids from getting on the social media sites if you're not a certain age, or I know at times I give some of that stuff a hassle, but you can just get on most of these sites, even Facebook. Facebook's one of the last ones that you can get on that's free. But they'll let just anybody on there. And now, the thing is, with Facebook, they don't even ask for an age verification. They don't ask for anything. You can get on there. Yeah, they give you a video tool. Yeah, but they have to have 10 friends on your page, sort of thing. But like I said, they ought to take a lot of this stuff. I don't mind for kids having a phone for emergencies. Is what if, there's a situation where, a kid might need something, might need to reach somebody. Maybe they had a boo-boo. Maybe something happened. I used to get left at home sometimes, at my own home, wherever I was living, whether it was my family or my mama's home, or if it was over at my grandparents' home. But, in either case, I didn't mind staying back because I wasn't going to just answer the door for nobody. I lived out in the country. One of the advantages of living out in the country is you don't have a lot of fucking bullshit to put up with. Unlike these people, out in these bigger states, out in the most potent of places, where there's all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of other stuff. And like I told my wife, all that stuff's good, But, and going and she's been to many, many places that I've never been to. But that's the overpollution of people makes it a lot harder. And maybe in some cases easier, especially when you're talking about girls wanting to be around other girls or whatever, guys wanting to be around guys that like guy things. And you get your own little clique started. Well, you find out that high school clique is just a fad. Almost every case, it turns out that somebody goes off, does their own thing, and gets married, whatnot, and then they leave you behind, you know. So your own little cliques doesn't work too good. I had a guy clique, didn't really want that. That's what ended up happening to me. At the time, I didn't mind what I got though. It was kept to a minimum. There was no talk of anybody having a girlfriend or anything. All that stuff wasn't talked about, wasn't discussed. So yeah, if for example, one of them said, "Hey, I watched the San Francisco 49ers. That was my favorite team, even though I wasn't a big football fan. And I know they play for the NFL. I know that much. But I just, and I've seen a few times where I've watched a football game. Sometimes I'll watch the Super Bowl, but I just wasn't interested. So one day, in particular, I was heckled by a bunch of them making fun of our wrestling. I said, well, if you'd give it a chance, you might like it. Not now, but at the time. They were doing some stuff, and I thought, man, if they just would watch this for a little bit, they would probably like it. It's got a lot of entertaining stuff with it. They do wrestling matches, but there was some stuff in it. And it is basically a traveling circus. It's what it basically turns out to be. It's just instead of animals, it's people. Why, and that's the one thing. Why would anybody, if all this stuff is a work, which a lot of it is, why would you want to get paid, even though you get paid good money now? Why would you want to go in there and risk getting exposed on worldwide TV, just like that Sonya Deville thing or some of these other, people, to all these people that are so obsessed with probably the female wrestlers, male fans, and they ain't gonna sit there and lie. A lot of them, if I'd been back there in the locker room, it'd been hard to stay away from them because there's a bunch of them out there. Like I said, it goes back through the years. My dad likes Sonny of all of them, and he likes Sonny, and I don't know. I like Sable all right, but especially later on, Lita. Her with that red hair, couldn't, man. But it's just, it's like I said, they're back then they didn't really promote you to get married, and even Vince McMahon's daughter Stephanie didn't get married till 2003 to Triple H. They tried for years trying to get between all them, but no, I just, for the life of me though, I don't understand why everybody, whether it's phone companies or whatever. I got through dealing with Verizon not but about a year or so ago over the same kind of craziness. Not exactly, but a little different stuff, but it still turned out the same crap. Trying to order something, try to get something done, and it wasn't that they wasn't going to send it out. It was just that they weren't filling out the stuff on their behalf to get it sent out here. So they were neglecting their still keeping both of us, which we had been going through them for a long time. And so, I got to the point, and after about 2 or 3 weeks of calling them multiple times, and they was trying to blame it on the virus, and they're trying to blame it on this and that. No, it's y'all's laziness to do what you have to do when you're sitting there on your computer, whether you're at home or at the office, it doesn't matter. Yins are just lazy. So y'all basically what you did was you basically talked to us over the phone and told us a whole bunch of lies, and you ended up being lies because you didn't do what you were supposed to have done on your behalf to get this stuff done. I mean, there was a little bit of some money involved in it, which had they had come out and said, hey, if the last person I talked to had come out and just said, hey, for all your troubles, we'll just send you, I'll make sure this gets sent out, and for all your troubles, we'll just send it out and charge you nothing. I might would have agreed with them there, and most likely would have, and gave them that last shot. But I certainly wasn't going to do anything of paying money to them or putting it, and all that. Because with all that trouble that we went through, which is why we ended up trying out consumer cellular, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I was just trying to think, and one day I just sat here and thought, well, at one time they had this thing where you could get phones. I know times that, in the last 10, 11 years, everybody said, well, everything changed. Well, it's just like the evolution of Nintendo's game systems. Hell, when I was first born, they went but about 3 different ones that came out while I was a child. It was Atari, regular Nintendo, and Super Nintendo. That lasted me almost 8, 9 years of my life. Something like that. Then all of a sudden, you had Sony, eventually around 94, 95, whatever it was, 96, got into the business. Microsoft followed suit a few years later. This is why we're having this little war that we're having. Go back in, and I know there was Sega and there was these other little handheld Game Boy like things too. But the real thing that was out there for everybody to get was whatever Nintendo was putting out. And I used to like, other than the fact that, you had to blow on those cartridges and stuff. I hated doing that. But, I did like, however, when the games come out, they put them on a disc, where unless you scrape the disc up or something happened to the disc, you had it. You took good care of it. But, it's just like that. The evolution of game systems has gotten so much out of control that it's made me not want to do any more gaming. It's gotten so bad. DLC content. Even after you buy the game, there's more bullshit to have to go buy and blow money on. And for anybody that would defend having to pay for more content on a video game, I find that you're just as stupid as anybody else would be. It's dumb because the whole idea is you buy the game, pay the price, whatever the price is, up the game price if you want. Fuck. Put all the shit on there. And if you want to pay $75, $80 in for a fucking game and it's something you really want and it's Christmas, or god dang, I used to get stuff all the time that was those tapes that I bought, that I originally bought the WrestleMania things I remember had 13 VHS tapes in. I think it was like $80 for all of them, plus tax, shipping or whatever. So it was almost $90 for 13 tapes. And I never was so thrilled to see all that. Years later, they came out on DVD. So I went back and bought them on DVD. And then it was like $200 a piece, for Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and all that. So I'm just examples, over time, I've come to know that I don't need all that. I ain't going to be able to watch all that like I used to. I don't like today's wrestling product. So I don't usually keep up with it a whole lot. I can tune in occasionally or watch if they have a big pay-per-view. I might watch it on YouTube if I can. Try to get out of paying that high-priced bullshit for, and a lot of people, used to give me a bunch of bullshit over the network. Well, how do you like your network now, people? It took them, how many years to fuck it up? 7? 7 years to fuck up the network. All these people were out there saying, "Oh, Derek," they didn't know, they didn't really, say it like that, but it was like, they were just hating on me because I didn't think it was a good deal getting all that shit on the network. Well, yeah, they had a few new shows, for example, but a lot of what I was trying to say was a lot of the crap that was already on there, everybody has fucking seen. All the WCW, the WWF, the ECW, and so on. All these other organizations, you've either seen the biggest portions of the highlights, the best stuff of, you've seen the matches, you pretty well know what's what, and there's no sense in paying anything to see that. And the only reason they were having you pay anything of that $10 was to try to get you to watch it for NXT or whatever, or the little ride-along shows or whatever, the Edge and Christian bullshit show they had on for several years while Edge was retired. So, like I said, they had a few knockoff shows like that. Legends House to start with. They had a whole bunch of shit. Well, it got old real fast, didn't it? Right? Got old real fast. You know how I know? Because now, like Jim Cornette calls it, the cock. Well, the old peacock or whatever, they have taken everything that you like about wrestling and they have censored it just on the basis of what they think these butthurt politicians or people in some form of government or whatever, or the FCC or whatever the fuck this whole deal is. Look, we have the First Amendment right to say what we think as long as we're within the reasonable guidelines of not threatening nobody to go up there and do some kind of bullshit, which I'm not. But I'm saying it is ridiculous that we have people so uptight on any issue, which is why I'm bringing multiple issues up, making a good video like I promised. And that's one thing a lot of people can't do is keep promises very well. I try to keep most of my own. Now, if an emergency came up and I had to reschedule, or my wife had to reschedule, we would be most certain to try and get it done. But I have seen so many people just in any form or fashion want to do us wrong. You can turn on whatever you want. But, yeah, it's just got my mind wondering. This is why we're in the shape that we're in, because we went away from the things that worked and the things that have worked. We've gotten away from it. Whether, like I said, main focus was about Assurance Wireless. I pretty well addressed that, but I'm addressing some other little things. But it's like with anything. I remember when computers first came out. There's these big screens, like a TV almost, a version of a TV screen, sitting there, big, bulky, heavy things, typewriters, and things that were, mouses, you know. So, again, we've come a long way. And I agree with, like I said, a lot of that I don't have a problem with. Actually, this is a lot better in most cases, but the only thing I have a disagreement on is like touching everything. Then you leave all your little fingerprints and all the other stuff. And how you ever going to clean it off, I don't know, because anything you do just about tears your little stuff up. I know that from spraying the TV one time. TV over here. I was going to put some cleaner on it and whatnot and everything else, and find out you can't do that to TV no more. I was used to everybody going through there and wiping it occasionally back in the day because it was a glass TV. That's the disadvantage of having one of these newer TVs is you can't clean the damn thing. Can't use no cleaner, can't do nothing. Well, if you can't clean it with nothing, what's the use? Oh, yeah, you can just take and dab just a little wider on there or whatever. Oh, for goodness sakes. Like I say, there's a lot of holes in it. For everything new, everything has a shelf life. Almost everything that comes out has some kind of shelf life. Phones have shelf life. Chargers. One thing that's bugged me is a lot of times, nowadays for cell phones, for example, chargers don't seem to work after so many years. And they just all of a sudden quit working. I remember my dad had the same phone. I was telling my wife this. He had the same phone, the same charger, and the same battery. He's the only one I know that has told me that. And I know it was true because I knew what his phone was. He had one of these little things like I used to have, one of these little flip phones. Not the one I got now, but just one of these little bitty ones. I showed my wife. And it was a Verizon. Everybody used to always have. I seen AT&T have one of them commercials, and I was trying to show her about what his looked like, and she couldn't believe it. This was 2007. And I was watching something. They had a commercial come up, one of the little phones. I mean, that thing was so small. That thing, it could fit in your pocket and then some. My phone right now, in comparison, is about 3 times bigger than the one that I showed. Oh, thank you, honey. But yeah, in comparison to this, see where it's a lot bigger. 15 years ago, we had cell phones that you could get, and I even remember I had one of those little cases on one of them. I miss those days because it was just simple call and text, no internet, no nothing, unless you wanted it. And they had it on, like I said, you could go on there and kind of at that time just started doing that, and they had a couple of things, like I was telling her, Moco Space and a couple of other things. So I checked a couple of them out. And at that time, I was able to find a few people that were decent. Every now and again, not every day. It was just occasionally, when one left something happened, you left you high and dry. Usually, you could go back and fix it up, try another one. Well, here we've come this far, and in 10 years, me and my wife, in the last 4 years, it seems like you can't find nothing. You can't find anything. Everybody either comes up with something. I mean, just like last night, she went in there twice. She went in there in the daytime. Then she asked me again, said, Derek, she gets in her mood. She wants to go for a walk. And she knows I don't care for her going for a walk. So she asked me and said, hey, can go down Dollar Tree and go get us a snack or something. So I said, yeah. And I gave her what I knew I could give her, And so she came back, but of course it was getting dark, and one of those that give her Jessie, one of those dolls, saw her and of course give her a ride. It's somebody she'd gotten a ride from before. But so, but yeah, it's gotten where everything is so pathetic and people are pathetic. I've had people come out on here even, and it's a shame, but I've had people come out on here, not so much anymore, but I've had people come out on here and make everything about them and about racial issues that they have with their own problems in their own head, a reason to hate on somebody because of their color or lack thereof, for spelling or whatever it might be. We all do things that we're not proud of. We all misspell a word or two. Everybody is smart. The smartest person in the world is going to make a boo-boo once in a while. I mean, they might be near perfect most of the time, but you're going to make a mistake in an area somewhere. Whether you're at work, whether you're at school, wherever it might be. Something's going to happen. So, for those that have tried to hate on us for not having the proper grammar on here or any other things that I can think of to talk about while I'm on here, there is, like I say, there's going to be a day when you all get old, lose your memory, probably, just get a little bit of a taste of what it feels like to not have what you once had. You people out there that do that to other people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a big people person, but I'm just saying in other cases, and I probably will never meet any other people. I usually stay pretty quiet myself, but I'm just saying, if somebody's out there doing that to somebody nice and somebody's trying to be, maybe they're like us, probably don't have a whole lot, don't have, a lot going on, and they're like us, we're kind of, ourselves. And, trying to get out here, trying to do something, trying to see if there's something nice. And first thing, most time, all you get is these people hating on you. Now, it's just so rude that everybody can't just find a way to be 50-50. I'm not saying agree on everything, because I know that's hard to do. It's not possible. But what I am saying, we can all agree to disagree and work something out, compromise 50-50. Now you say, well, Derek, you kind of biting your own self in the foot. I can hear people now. Well, sometimes if you give somebody a little leeway and you give them a chance, maybe you give them a second chance. We've had a few of those kind of people. It depends on the situation, who it is, what they're all about, what they're going through, what their mind's going through. If I can't reasonably talk like this right here, and I can't look you in the eye and tell you certain things that you need to hear, and you can't, honestly look at me or my wife and say, yeah, I really need to hear this. It might not have been what I wanted to hear, but I realized that's what I needed, you know? And it's not because, you know, they're perfect or whatever. We may be as close as to perfect as you get as far as not doing anything bad or not getting out there and all the stuff that obviously gets a lot of people in trouble, because we don't do the partying and we don't do, the things that other people do on purpose to get in trouble, get unwanted and undivided attention. So no, we don't jailbirds, or we don't do things that would most people would get on these TV shows and go out here and do. But because there's no need for that. There wouldn't be a need for anything. There wouldn't be no need for programs for any of this stuff if the government and all these people took that off the shelves. All this stuff, the cigarettes, the beer, and as much as of the drugs, the products that create the drugs that we see out on the streets today. They already quit advertising, cigarettes on commercials, but they end up advertising you to quit smoking. Now they went backwards, and they encouraged you in the 1960s or 70s. Now they're trying to show you people that you don't even know if they're real or not. You don't even really know if they're, it could be a bluff. It could be some type of game. I'm not saying that because what are they going to pay somebody who's almost dead anyway? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not, but what are you going to pay somebody to get on one of these TV shows? One of these commercials? What are you going to pay somebody who's about dead, who's supposed on an oxygen tube and everything else? What are they going to do? I mean, you done paid your price. You end up with cancer. You end up with some type of lung issue, breathing issues, all kinds of things. I know this because my family's one of the worst. On my mom's side, that is. One of the world's worst at showing you bad examples of stuff. But yet encouraging their kids, I don't want you to get caught up in this. I don't want you to be like me or the rest of these people. Well, I'm glad for that. But in a way, I wish they could have seen their own faults and quit, and had the will to quit. Everybody has the will to argue and fuss and fight over stupid things such as politics and religion and other crap out here in this world. And you might say, well, why are you? I'm hoping maybe I could help some of these people. Maybe I might not ever know it, but I might, you can get a few things straightened out by, some of these people who view the video and watch it. Maybe it might help them, might knock a few screws in there. Might get some new laws passed. It might get somebody to take a look at a few different things. Just like those poor kids asking the government to take those guns off the streets when they had that last school shooting before the virus. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times since this virus thing got started. The reason this thing got so bad is because the government did not keep the document in place that protected us from future viruses that President Obama put in the White House. They let that knucklehead, fucking Donald Trump, get in there and screw shit up on purpose. And he took that because we had SARS and we had all them other viruses, but it didn't get out of control. So nobody prior to 2020 was saying anything about wearing a mask. There wasn't nothing. I mean, for the longest time, I wondered what the hell flu shot was and what was it for. But nobody in the 80s, nobody in the 90s or in the mid 2000s was wearing a mask. Nobody brought it up. But then all of a sudden, because you people out there that voted for Trump and yeah, he did do some things right, of course, like always. They do a few things right. They take care of your 3 or 4 needs. That's always on top of the list, the economy and the job thing, and they do their best with that. But the things that they lack on the most, and they do it on purpose because they don't really care about the people of the United States. They couldn't care for us all. They couldn't find enough room for us all. And you say, well, that's not the whole point. Well, it basically might as well be, because they would care about their significant others, their family members, people that they're closest to. They wouldn't want to have the risk of not having a way to support themselves, jobs. You take what happened in the government shutdowns. I nailed it right on the head. Oh, Barack Obama out there, one of the most negative things he could have done was been out there seen at one of these restaurants eating a fucking hamburger. Out there laughing it up, and out there being a jackass. While we're going through this, back then, while we were going through all this stuff, wondering if me or my wife or people that was on SSI, like me and my wife, was going to we didn't know what we was going to do. At the time I was working. And, my boss came to me at that time and told me, he said, hey, I'm going to have to cut you down at least one day. Is that all right? And I said, yeah. I said, as long as I get a little bit, that's all that matters. But it's stupid decisions that they want, that because they can't see the thing the government cannot do, or any government, let's just go ahead and throw everybody in there. They can't, for the betterment of the people, which is what the president is supposed to do, and all these governors and all these fucking tightwads that support gay marriages and support other issues and think we ought to like transsexuals, homosexuals, and all these other things. Like I said, if you don't bring it up in front of me, I don't have any problem in not talking about it. But you ask my opinion on what I think of transsexuals or homosexuals, or I told my wife the only thing that would make me like any of anything, and it's just because I really don't have a problem seeing women. I can understand seeing a younger couple of women. I could see where, they would be more willing to have some type of thing. It's just from a guy's standpoint, it doesn't make sense, in a lot of ways. Why would another guy want to marry another guy, But I could kind of see it from a woman's standpoint because, what if the other guy that they tried the guy thing out and it didn't work out and they've had a few bad, experiences. Just like, women out there today, they have their own little girlfriend clique. A lot of times they're satisfied with that. We brought one up in here I can use for example. They're fine with these 4 or 5 other people that they say they know, but yet to come in here and somebody like that comes in here and tries to, whoever it be, tries to come up in here and expects me or my wife to say good things about people like that, and I don't even know them. So I can't in good conscience. You know, I have to know what I'm getting into before I enter, thinking about giving them credit for things that they might do. I'm not saying that they're bad people, but I am saying you can't just toot your horn about other people and expect when you tell others, oh yeah, well they ain't anybody I've met. They're not anybody I'm going to be texting. Not going to be seeing on a regular basis. I'm not going to be living with them. I ain't going to be clothing them. I'm not going to be feeding them. It's not like you can go out here and get a fucking dog from somebody for free. Or like I told yesterday or one of these videos, everybody will offer anything else but what we're trying to get to. But the reason we can't get to it is because even I'm seeing now, this latest one still hadn't come down here. Still hadn't done anything. I still hadn't heard one thing. And it's been several days. But it's them. They're the ones that this is what's out here. Oh, I know. I'm just going to get this. I'm going to get everything all out in one. You wonder why? My wife wonders why I'm not a people person. Why I'm not a social butterfly in any sort of way. I'm not saying I should be the biggest, like take everybody on, take everybody in. No. And I'm not saying it's what she did either. But she's basically guilty of what I was guilty of when I was at school. You had a few people come up and say they wanted your help on something, and I'd help them with their homework, but I didn't go to their houses. I gave out my grandmother's number at one time, and I had 2 or 3 of them back in the day would call me, and I'd no more get my ass outside until they fucking call me back. I'd get off the phone and think they was through, and they'd call me back in about 2 minutes. And I'm going to get out there and get on the swing. Derek, phone. I'm like, oh my God, I just got off the phone. And, and so I had to cut that out. And then, just like I said, it's everything that you could imagine. You were told then, oh yeah, Derek, go make as many, not necessarily me, but I mean, the idea was they didn't care as long as they didn't come at the house. Now if I'd brought these people up to the house where I was making my residence at the time, living with my grandparents, they wouldn't like it. But yet, like I was pointing out, currently today, I'm shitted on for not having nothing to do with hundreds of fucking kids and people that I never heard of hardly. And the few I had chose to stay away from my grandparents' house. I had nothing to do with it. If they wanted to have come up there and said hello or hi or something, I would have done that. I've done that when Papa used to have the hay come up there and for his cows. He traded it off with one of his closest brothers or something. I can't remember. But I remember that when I was a kid. And I was down there playing basketball and doing things I was doing when I was a kid while they were doing that. And, huh? Come here, baby. What you did? Oh, maybe I misunderstood. What?
I'm making your breakfast.
Oh, making my breakfast. She was talking so low, I didn't know exactly what she said. Sorry about that, honey. No, it's all right. That's all right, baby. I love you. I love you, honey.
I don't want it.
Oh, that hair smells so good. It's so soft.
I'm upset.
But no, I just kind of had the feeling after, 2 or 3 days or whatever it's been since then. I mean, my God, I told my wife, I said, I would give anything a chance right away. I'd want them to know that at least I was interested. Now, did I say I was going to go overboard no. But if somebody literally came out here, let's just say they didn't have nothing, no technology, nothing on them. They just kind of lived in a cardboard box, a shed of some kind, didn't have an apartment. I'd take that person in probably immediately, just because at least I would know that they would not probably, not guaranteeing it, but I'm going to say they would have experienced the worst thing that you could have experienced without drugs, without alcohol, without probably smoking a cigarette, but have had some bad parents, some bad things have happened. I could see myself or my wife handling probably somebody like that. Somebody didn't have nothing. Somebody that's already got things, already got kids, already got stuff up their butt, and the only reason that they came out here, or this woman came out of her little hidey holes, because my wife was going up there to see about some stuff for hopeful that we get an application. We're still going to check on that Tuesday. But she saw my wife up there, and then she just, on that day it was a little warm. But I just have the feeling, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say it, but I just have the feeling it was a fucking little one of these little tricks. I mean, when somebody gets their ass serious, and somebody actually figures it out that, hey, I want this unicorn bestie offer. Overall, it's not about the looks, although that's part of a person. That's what draws your attraction to people. I have a certain flavor, just like my wife will have a certain flavor of something. I mean, we don't want this for an example. I'll put a little something out here while I'm on this subject. We don't want the fattest woman. We don't want the most out of shape person. I definitely don't see myself doing anything fun with that. But somebody with a little meat on their bones, to somebody, if they are skinny, they're skinny. That's natural. That's what a woman is usually most of the time. Anybody that knows, if you watched any kind of professional sports or wrestling or anything, normally they're naturally, most women are skinny. Want to be that way. A lot of them don't want muscles. So when you get for example, I had Connie, and you get one like that looked like she did and had the height to go with it, and she had 175 pounds on her. You didn't know she was 175 pounds. You didn't know it. You couldn't have told by looking at her. But, there's a night and day difference depending on the person and what, because it just depends, if you get your dad's stuff, if you're a female, you get most of your dad's stuff, you'll probably wind up looking pretty good with a little bit of weight on you. They wouldn't know any difference. They'd come out more liking you that way. But when you don't have the height and all that, it does kind of play in some people, because I'd like to see somebody, me and my wife could have that, where we go out there and play. Still be like kids at times, go out and do our sports, have our stuff in common, our music. I'm not letting another music hater in here. If they ain't got my music and my wife's music in common, I'm shipping them out. I'm going to make sure so I don't have to do that. I'll make sure about that. That hurts me. Because, I like varieties of stuff. I can't stomach. Somebody comes up and says, "Oh, I see you like music." Yeah, I do. I don't like movies that much, and I'll watch one or two. And like my wife the other night said, "Oh my God, Derek, you watch? I can watch that Sandlot. The first they've had two or three of them. The first one is always the one I like best. I've seen all of them, but the first one, just like Smokey and the Bandit, are you going to watch part two or part three, or are you going to watch the original? Right? I'm gonna watch the original. I'm gonna watch the one with the dog in it, Fred. I don't give a shit what I've seen them, but I just don't like them. So if I had to choose, most of the time, not in all cases, but most of the time, most movies are good when they first come out, the first part. When they make a second or third of it, it usually stinks. Because they don't have, it don't make sense, or it just don't, the storyline is not there. It's not as good. I find myself taking these quizzes, every now and then here on YouTube, and I'm just, and some of the things, that they have on here are pretty cool, but yeah, it just goes back to when me and my wife had called them people out here to help us with something. We had these, like I said, the men were fine. It's just, when people bring out their own, personal people, and well, they work for the fire station, Derek. And yeah, well, I get that, but if the house ain't on fire, and as I stated, and I made it clear to the person on the phone, house wasn't on fire. I can understand bringing out the stuff anyway, but if the house ain't on fire, she had no business coming in here. And she could have sat there in the truck, had her own little phone or whatever she had on her. She could have been out there just doing that. They were in here for 5 minutes. My wife knows it. 5 minutes, and it was took care of. I just, like I said, I was going to bring up several different things. I didn't know, what exactly, but just some things. I kind of felt like making somewhat of a video. Does Kitty want to come on today? Okay, I'm going to let her have a piece if she wants a piece of this today. She ain't been on here in a little while. But no, I've gotten a little bit bigger, and because I can't, I can't naturally, and it don't look bad, but oh yeah, that's
see what you think.
oh yeah, that's I bought this.
Mm-hmm. See what you think.
That's just like noodles.
Chicken flavored. Flavored. I thought maybe you would like
Uh-oh.
you would like
That's not bad.
chicken flavored.
Oh,
It's all right.
damn it.
It's all right.
There.
Good morning, everybody. Just woke up a couple hours ago. I don't have much to say because, I don't have no life here. It sucks.
What
The only thing I do is play with my baby dolls or do house chores, go for walks, go see my cows for a little while. Because I got Snowball and JBL's gone. I got Snowball and Sugar left and Brownie and Blackie. Because I call him Blackie because he's real little. He's black and white, but I call him Blackie. And he wags his tail when I call him Blackie. He knows his name now. He'll come up to me now. He'll let me pet him. And he'll cry. If I don't pet him, he'll come up and cry at my hand, And I'll set the fence, and sing to him and, get him to calm down, not let him cry. Because, that makes me want to cry, seeing them cry, I don't like seeing animals cry like that, It hurts, Or I'll go to church once in a while, like my husband said. I'll go to church once in a while, but I ain't been going lately. You know, lately right now it's just too cold, and I got to get my house cleaned up, and we had some things going on with our apartment. We had to get our bathtub worked on and our electric a little bit worked on this week. And I watched a little bit of cartoons. I watched baseball a little bit. I watched, just the updates on Lena, when we won the championship. And we hope that, Freddie gets re-signed up. We hope so. But I don't think he will because, they're not going to give him. Yeah, they're going to have to up their offer on his thing,
They're not going to get him to sign for a year.
No, he's not going to do that because, he loves the Braves. He said, they've been together and they traveled together, as one family. In 3 of the Braves that I don't know very well, we signed up Freddie. They said it in their speech, because they said they like Freddie. Freddie helps them, during spring training, trains them, shows them, what a real game is,
I think they just know that it's like I said, he's the last one that may get a chance to stay with the team the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Like Chipper did.
Yeah.
So they was like re-signing him. They're only offering him a minimum of, the money ain't the problem, it's the years on the contract.
Yeah.
That's mainly the problem. That's why he's not took it.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to up it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to up the offer. But I usually go downtown, to get a couple groceries once in a while. I'll go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General or the Pig once in a while. But the 17th I'll get to go grocery shopping. Now, if you see me carrying my doll around, don't come up to me and think that, I'm trying to get attention when I'm not. This is for me only because I have a disorder that I can't handle.
Well, no.
Well, I can handle it, but it helps me keep me calm.
Yeah.
Keeps me calm.
You do better than most people. Right?
Yeah. Derek said he knows me. I do better than most people. And, I have anxiety and depression and bipolar disorder. That's why I was diagnosed with. And I do good for bipolar. I don't explode. I don't explode like most people do. I try to stay calm because, I don't want my blood pressure high. My doctor said my blood pressure's been shooting a little bit. She could tell my blood pressure's been a little bit high. She said, you got to watch, your blood pressure a little bit. I told her I had a lot of stress on me, with family, and she was a new doctor, and I went and explained, when I had my doctor appointment, because I get checkups every year, They just want to make sure I'm on the right medicine, the right vitamins. They want to make sure I'm on, my vitamin D's doing okay with me, and they check your blood pressure, they put this thing on your finger, I forget what it's called.
Check your pulse.
Oh, check your pulse. My husband said it checks your pulse. And they said that was really, really good. They said my pulse was really good. They said my vitamin D is going up excellent. They said it's going real good. They said just keep taking it. I like to color and draw. I like to watch my own me and TV shows sometimes. I just don't like the violent ones, where, there's a lot of shootings or blood, it gives me nightmares. I used to have a lot of nightmares when I was a kid, I had, I'll go to sleep. If I watch something scary, before I go to bed, I would have real bad nightmares. I was like probably 9, 10. But I did go to Hawaii for a little while, but they said that I'm doing really good. and they don't think I need it now. So that's good to hear, good news to hear. Because, my husband said, "Why are you coming here?" When he was going with me at the time, I said, my mom was lying on me on stuff, saying I cut my wrist and all this crap. And they said there was no proof of it because they didn't see that in me. Crystal and them, said, I don't see this. That's why Crystal got me out of Hawaii because, she talked to the mental hospital. She's the one that got me out of the mental hospital. She had to sign for me to get out. She went down there and saw me out so I can go home, and what's funny? My family, put me in a motel, They said I couldn't be around, the community, around certain people. And Crystal would come and see me, in Sweetwater. I was staying in the Sweetwater Motel, and my caseworker would come out there and see me. This was before I met my husband, She would put me and there, I was close to McDonald's and a restaurant, if I got hungry or something. Or my grandparents would come by for a little while, my mama or something. When she could drive, when she ain't scared of the dark. Because she can't drive in the dark, she can't see in the dark. And she would bring me like bread and, lunch meat, water, and Kool-Aid, something I can drink, And I would just sit in the motel, watching TV, on a little bit, put on one or two, or three, just to hear, hear the TV talk. But, ever since I married my husband, it's like a life difference, seeing what the real world is like, being married, it's a lot funner, but, I know we can't do things all the time, but, I get bored once in a while. I'll ask my husband, I'll say, may I go for a walk or something, and he don't mind, I'll just let him know where I'm going. Or I'll carry my phone on me sometimes, if he needs me or something, like if he gives me money, for example, and he needs something from the store, I'll go and pick it up, and I'll come right back home. I'll let him know I'm on my way home, because, that's how I was raised, My dad did the same thing with me, taught me, how to count money, he'll make me a grocery store list, and I'll go down the store and get that, what we need in the house. Or I'll help help my dad, pay the rent of the house or the bills, half of the bills, my SSI. Or he taught me how to go to high school, graduate. He pushed me all the way to graduate because, he said, you'll be the first daughter in our family to graduate. That means your mom didn't get to graduate when we were 16 in high school, because my mom was pregnant with me. She didn't want to go through high school being pregnant. She was scared, she would go into labor with me, she'd be in class or something, and I understood that. Either he sat me down real easy and explained it, He explained, what him and my mom was going through when I was a little baby, where I didn't understand it. But, I still don't understand, why family on both sides, I still don't understand, why can't they get along just for us two as a handicapped couple that got married early? Yeah, we didn't tell anybody because, I went to my husband, we sat down, we talked about it. And I didn't know it was Hulk Hogan's birthday. I didn't know that.
Actually, his birthday, I think, is what is it? It's what day was it?
August something.
It's in August, but I thought it was 18th, but it wasn't.
Oh, my husband said his birthday wasn't August 18th. Okay.
I checked it earlier.
Oh, okay.
The other day.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't no special day. Oh, no, okay.
Maybe somebody's birthday.
Yeah, we don't know whose birthday is on August 18th, but
I thought it was August.
Yeah, I did too. That would have been awesome. That would have just cheered him up. Somebody get married on his birthday. Hulk Hogan is a cool wrestler. I wanted to go see his store down in Florida. Because I was born and raised in Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida, St. Petersburg. I was living by the beach, and like my husband said, I was living by the beach and stuff. And Florida wasn't amazing, but there was some sights. Like you can go see the beach. You can go to Orlando, Florida. There was the Disney World stuff. Like I traveled as a little girl. I was just a baby when I traveled a lot. I went to Kentucky, Georgia, Macon, Georgia. Went to Ohio. Went to Kentucky, Florida. When I was born and raised. Oh, my husband let me show the new monkey that I got him for at the thrift store. Okay, there's that one. And I got her this little puppy, Catherine's little puppy. She named him Charlie. I promised her that a long time ago, and I had to go and get him because I didn't know if they would still have him or not. Like I was saying, my husband's right. He only got to know me and Connie, from Hawaii that he knew really, really well. Bless Connie's family now that she's gone. Bless their little hearts. I'll be praying for them because, that's the only daughter they had. She was really sweet when I first met her. She was telling me that, she knew Derek and she explained how they met.
She's like that. The only thing that I negative that I'd have to say is she's like that crack whore.
Yeah.
She didn't have her shit straightened out. She was living off daddy's little
land
and whatever he wanted to do, and say her vision and my vision just don't
match.
Didn't want to match. Didn't want to be, So I got pissed off, and I said what I had to say. And
that was it.
We ended on bad terms, and it was
the shits.
But sometimes now at the time I was 22, 23. So you don't see one of these people, especially young ones, on there at the time. You don't see it,
but how I want to explain how I met Derek. It's funny. I met Derek on a Southern bus, and he French kissed me, and I never forgot. I never been French kissed. I never been French kissed by a guy before. Derek was the first man, that I got really French kissed by, And then the second time was John Street, right, babe? John Street. And he met me at Jones Street, and we talked over maybe 20 minutes maybe at tops. He was volunteering. He was a dishwasher person for Family Dining. Well, Jones Street, but now it's called Our Family Table. I ain't been in there in a couple months now. And
I ain't been in there about probably at least half a year because I don't any little girls in there running their lips.
Yeah. Thanks a lot to her little ass. But I've had a great day for the past 2 days, almost a week almost. Just been trying to keep myself busy, trying to help my next door neighbor with the yard a little bit because he just had heart surgery. So I've been trying to help him a little bit when it gets warm outside. I try not to go out there when it's real freezing, I try to go out there when it's warm. I collect stuffed animals, baby dolls. I like to dress them, give them baths. I feed my new reborn. Her name is Dorothy. Let me go get her. She's awake. Sometimes she likes to sleep all day because Daddy got the heat on. She's right here. I'm a reborn mom. I got another one, but she's heavy. I don't feel like bringing her out because she's real heavy. She's more heavier than Dorothy. Her name is Sarah. I love her because my grandma bought her for me, and she bought her before she died. But I really don't. I try to stay off of Facebook because Facebook sucks. I try to stay off Instagram because it sucks. Because people are saying they're the so-called divas and wrestlers when they're not. And oh, here's my baby. Come here, my little star. This. I wonder if I can get her face up. That's Catherine. This is my play plow doll, my favorite doll in the world. She's my everything. She is the sweetest baby. She smiles at me. She'll talk to me during the day. She just puts a smile on my face, to talk to her, and she's just my everything. She's my baby. Let me go put her up now. I got her back now. Sue. This is Sue, her baby. This is her baby, Sue. This is her other puppy I got her at Dollar Tree. Got her a little horsey at Bears and Den. I got a little horsey. This is Sparkles. Woo. Yeah. And this is Ariel. I got her at the pawn shop. Got her little Ariel. That's her baby. That's her other baby. So you see where I collect, I buy stuff for my babies and I collect stuffed animals, sorry. But I don't have a lot to talk about, so here's my husband.
I found me some chips.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That and
You make you some cheese and chips?
yeah.
Chips.
But no, I don't know. I guess, it's if everybody take a little, detour from the norm of the world, making everybody in the world always happy with politics and religious stuff or all that and the technology mess. Realize you don't really need all that. There can be a couple of things that are necessary, but it's not all about, what the biggest portion of people make it all about. And, but no, the reason we ain't got nothing or haven't, it's not that I wouldn't want to take a trip once in a while or something. It wouldn't even have to be to another state, which is my biggest problem. I think it's my wife's biggest problem because she was used to being able to. They took her on all these fucking little joyrides and all these damn trips. So she always thought, somewhere in the back of her mind probably, that's how everything was always going to be. And that they and unlike myself, she got, see what she said, Florida and around and Ohio, Kentucky, or like Ohio, and all that. Well, and there was reasons for everything, just like there was reasons for, I guess, what I was like, if they wanted to go somewhere, there wasn't much I could do, But the furthest I've ever went was to Chickamauga, Georgia, and it's still a small piece of it. Wasn't a big thing, it's just Had to be, one of those little trips that I didn't have planned. Somebody met off there. We took a 3-day trip out there. It's as far as I've ever went. And otherwise, I've been to, like I said, I've been to some things. Been to Knoxville one time, two times. I've been up there once for the zoo and once to go to WIVK, the radio station. But I haven't been in 16, 17 years. The last time I went up there. So again, it's just, and like I said, if you people can't wrap your mind around, and I'm only at 37, my wife's only 34, but there are things that you just cannot do when you enter into letting somebody in your life. You cannot just let the person come up and just start taking things over right away on certain subjects when you know you're right and they're wrong. And again, it's not about really, at the end of the day, it's not about who's right, like it's in a bad way, but it's like trying to get you to see, and at least meet us halfway. Enough to where we could say, man, if we could get them half and half, and then let them think about it a little longer, get them to where, maybe they're 75, 80% on board. Maybe they'll get 100% by the time a little time passes. But when they try to get smart mouthy and get, on been out of shape, that's where we start. I've noticed we start having these little issues and problems because you guys, most of you, most women and most of you have this problem. And I always get accused of bossing somebody around or talking too loud or saying the wrong things or not to their liking or whatever. If I liked it and I agreed with it, I would say it. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem in doing it. The problem is, as I'm not a supporter of things I've already mentioned, such as, again, anything to do with cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, transsexuals, homosexuals, anything to do with that sort of stuff. I got to say, I can understand women, kind of having their own little thing and probably being around a few that they know that, the guy thing didn't work out. Maybe they got, maybe that's their way of escaping some stuff. Maybe they think, that that would be something, just like me and my wife came up with our deal here. But the problem is she don't know any of them no more than I do out here. And I'm willing to, like I said before, it's willing to give them a try, give somebody a try out here, but they can't put their phone down. They can't put all this other stuff down. They got to go with, we just had one up here 9 months ago or so, 10, whatever it's been. And she just rambled off all at the, she's already happy, had all this stuff that she liked over, what she's going to put. The only thing that person was going to do was put me and my wife through something we didn't need to be in. And like I said, it's just a night and day difference now. I'm starting to see that ever since that one wandered her little ass down here, I'm starting to see everybody up here and everybody so far that I've laid my eyes on, that I hadn't laid my eyes on. My wife has seen a few here. They haven't made no. No headway of doing any texting, calling. Won't give out their number. My wife shouldn't have to go up there and keep going up there just to get somebody to talk to her. They know where we're at. If there were anybody up there that saw this goddamn video, if they were interested in our offer, it's out here. It's been out here for months now. It's been out here almost half a year. I think the first video was like that I put out here was in late June. So if there were anybody from up there or just happened to get out here and make them one of these things, and this is something they thought sounded good, and you thought that you could put up with it, like I said, we're not that hard. The things that we're hard on is things that people should know. Oh no. But no, that's what we're hard on, is doing the things that we know that is right, the things that we know that other people should do, all people, but it's hard to reach everybody. But if you can change a few people's opinions on racial issues or politic issues or religious views and all that garbage, then I'll take the few that I can change over the ones that I can't. Because it's all a big game and a political game, and then everything about it's not that you can't watch the news, and like I could watch the news and make my opinions heard, and I can say what I feel as long as I don't say I'm going to go do something that I know, or that they don't think I'm, going to go up there, such as some of the stuff you see on the news where people's going up there and doing stuff at the White House or whatever the bull is, it's stupid. And like I said, it's nothing I support. It's nothing I wouldn't want to happen. But it does, because you got people out here running, their mouths about, stuff, and these other people will listen to any politician that gets up there. And that's why we're in the shape we're in, because a lot of things that presidents in the past have tried to do that were great, a lot of it gets taken up by the next person, and then they don't like that this one did this, and well, the next time that you're out of office, something that you did may get taken up, may get done away with. But the few things they can't take away from us, thank goodness, are the things that involve handicapped people, such as, our SSI. They can't touch, there's the First Amendment rights of having freedom of speech. They can't touch the right for women to vote. Although I just find it stupid to stand out there and vote. I don't like to support anybody that votes. It just bothers me the more I think about it. So it's all a game. Our vote doesn't matter. Our vote does not matter one iota. And for anybody out there, the only thing anybody's getting out of it is seeing heads and counting how many people actually got up and went out there and voted. So then it puts this whole spin on the TV ads and all this stuff. If they think they can get your ass up for church, if they think they can get your ass up out there for a rally of some kind, or a Me Too movement, or a racial movement, or whatever, and I think I know it's our biggest problem with a lot of the people, because they think this stuff is such an importance that they have to go out there and lie about being raped, being abused, being hurt. I've seen people on the news do it just for the camera time. If any such thing were happening, the first thing that anybody would do is go to the police. I don't care if it would risk them shooting me. I would much rather take my chance, fight them off. They would have to kill me in order to win. To even have a chance to not ever get caught. Is the way I look at it. Because people's mental state in their own mind is too weak that they can't press it forward and get what needs to be done. You know, and I've also said that if you can't put somebody away for life, you're really not doing much good, because then the person is just going to get out, probably most likely do somebody else, or if not, come after you. So all the laws are not perfect. And so therefore, it doesn't matter how many times you arrest somebody for anything, they're going to do it until you make everything that they do life in prison. Now you say, well, I don't have the room. Well, the ones that redo it, you could have, say, hey, have a 3 strikes rule or something. Put something in place. Say, hey, third time you come in here, you're going to have to pay $1 million. Make it a big, make it something big, or otherwise you're stuck in here. But like I said, it's why I don't support anything to do with Martin Luther King. I don't support anything to do with Black Friday. Even though I know it's just referred to shopping and all that, I still find that that's somehow connected to that fucking shit, that racial stuff. Of all things, you couldn't think of another color or something to call that instead of Black Friday. I just find it kind of weird. Like, other racists out there don't get anything. We don't, and especially the Caucasian white people don't get a holiday of their own. All these other people gets, all this other stuff done. I mean, like I said, I've had these views for a long time. I've seen enough news to last me a lifetime. I don't ever have to watch it again, because I know it's the same 2 or 3 things. I might watch it for the weather occasionally, when I need to watch it and see how bad or how good the weather's going to be for the week. Where we live, they ain't that much. But as far as, y'all people are the ones that are pushing good people like me and my wife away. I mean, y'all's agendas, y'all's political agendas, y'all's religious stuff, and all the other junk is what's pushing people like us away. I've said it many times. You can have your crowds that support that and think that's all well and good, but you can also sit there, and if you're a reasonable person, sit there and think how true this stuff really is that we're trying to get out here. And I've told my wife many times, we may never get what we hope for, but it's not going to be because we ain't trying. Like she said, it's just there's a little bit here that we'd like to explore, and to have somebody nice that would like to, have something like that with us. It's not like we're the only people that does this. There's others out there, but they take the risk we all take. They may have the fortunate of finding it easier because of where they live. They might be, it might be one of them bigger states, bigger areas. There might be a bigger population. Out here, you take it for what it is. It's a little over supposedly 1,600 people, and 2 of those are sitting right here. So you gotta take the age thing in consideration. Everything that's out here, there's no clubs, bars. There's no, not in Decatur. There's no, there's no attraction. And all the while you could make an argument for a few things that happens year round. It's small. It's very small compared to what she was used to. And what, at every street corner she probably lived on, there was probably nothing but young people or somebody's young kids out there getting her attention, But out here, it's the same people that's either had kids, grandkids, or something. And they have kids, and the biggest population is those kind of people that have that thought of being, she's like she said, I've been up there at, that restaurant, and I said, well, that's when I chimed in. It's been at least over 6 months. So, I don't ever usually plan on going back in there, just basis on what happened. So, but no, I just, if Federer wants a nice offer like what we're offering, they know what it is. If you're out here, you know exactly where we're at. We're hopeful to get, we're going to check on some stuff up here Tuesday. If nothing else, we'll get that. I just, as a repeat, thing I said on here the other day, we'll do what we have to do. Keep peace, do the things that we know we need to do. And if somebody was to come up and somebody that ain't on drugs, somebody that's got some form of decency about themselves, something other than fucking, drama and drugs, and kids, talking about the kids all the time. Like I said, I'm not a kid hater, but man, enough is enough. Sometimes a fella needs a break. Every once in a while. You do too. Speaking of any mother out there that says they don't need a mental break once in a while, you're fucking insane. I know you need a break. I had one in here that I drilled that shit into. And after a while, she says, oh, yeah, I can see your point. Yeah, I do need a break once in a while. Well, you know why you didn't get a mental break? Because you didn't want one. You had it right in front of your goddamn face, you idiot. You just sit there and want to be in your own little cubic box like Michael Cole is. And you didn't want to get yourself out on your own terms, and the way that I should say, the way you should have gotten out, which was by calling around, get some things done the right way, by calling SSI, getting yourself on some Social Security, Go out there and get you a job. If you ain't gonna do that, go out there. You could got you a job, but the problem is your mental problem has got in the way. Yet, there's a lot of people like you out there that think the way you do and think everybody's trying to tell you what to do. You damn right I am, because it's the right thing. You should take responsibility for your choices that you made that nobody else made for you. I feel bad for anybody that has kids and wants kids, and then their kids turn out to be nothing but fucking murderers or whatever they turn out to be. They could be the next big news story out here on fucking TV. Well, then what are you gonna do? What's your mom and dad gonna think about it then when they tried to raise you up right, if there are a few of them left? And they happen to say, well, this is the kid I had. Yeah, and look what they're doing. All the things that you told them not to. And the only thing they blame is everybody else but themselves. So it's all our faults that you all wind up like this, and y'all can't put your brain together. You can be a good person and help everybody and be a good Samaritan and help and straighten this world up. We need more of those than we do of the bad people. And the ones that we can get to see some of these things, we need to get this stuff straight. Yes, it might make people not come out and do the stuff that the news and the media and all the other crackpots out here and all the people out here, WWE and all the other networks and sports things and all that, telling everybody to vote. What's there to vote on? Nothing. Nothing. It's a political agenda. It's a political game from every aspect. It don't involve anybody. It just, all it is people counting how many heads, how many of this come out, how many was over 20, how many was, how many of this, and they get an idea because they got somebody sitting there at the vote machines telling them, feeding them this stuff to the news networks. If everybody just sit down and think about it like me and my wife do, this stuff right here be stopped. They would have no choice but to change the gun laws and getting all this stuff off the streets. I mean, the policeman wouldn't have nearly as tough a job if you got enough support behind, if these people wasn't so fucking scared. Now, if I knew there was a place for me to go and do all this, that's why I do it out here. I might help a few people. And you might get a few things done. If a few crackpots can get a few things done, maybe we can get a few things done that straightens it up. Maybe we can. And then they'll be wondering, why is this taken away? Because you don't need it. It's not necessary. So, but like I said, I'm probably going to get off here. I'm going to eat. But no, we just want to kind of come out here, bust a little video out. But, maybe make one later.